Hey fragheads and fragrance lovers, welcome back. It's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance Show, showcasing another beautiful fragrance. So today we're going to be talking about none other than Davidoff's, Coolwater, the coolest edition. Is it a corny name? Yes. I think that being called the coolest, man, yeah, it's cool, that's rad. I think that's kind of ridiculous, but I mean, they can name whatever bottle they want, but I do have to say that I think this blue is very likable. This is a very nice blue, and it's actually a metal flask, if I remember right. It's a bit heavier, it's a bit denser, and this is also an amazing value you can find these at. So let's talk about it. Is this just another, Davidoff Coolwater fragrance, or is this one different? This one is different. They did decide to switch up the notes. Some fragrances, like CK, tend to do summer flankers, and just like, over and over and over. And they're kind of just like repackages, or the bottles just look a little different. Coolwater and Dolce & Gabbana do have fragrances that are a little bit more unique, and they do put a twist on their fragrances, usually for different flankers. So this one has a little bit more of like cypress and elemi. It's a little bit more refreshing. It has a little bit of oak moss. It actually, I strongly believe that this fragrance was inspired by Pacific Rock Moss. When this fragrance went into development, they saw the popularity of Pacific Rock Moss, and if you don't know, about a year ago of this recording, Pacific Rock Moss was actually a very popular release when that, Goldfield and Banks came out. It actually sold out, and you actually couldn't get a bottle for about 3 months. It was sold out for quite a while, and even getting a sample, I kind of wanted to get a sample, but it was almost impossible to get a sample for about 6 months. So this fragrance, I think, captures a little bit of that smell, makes this fragrance a little bit more trendy, a little bit more modern, a little bit more refreshing. I do have some sprayed on my arm right here. It still has some of that Coolwater DNA with that oak moss and with that assertive, almost aquatic, some people say a little bit of sharpness to it. And I can see there's still some of the original DNA here. But it's kind of a little bit of a hybrid. It is fresher off the top, has some cypress and maybe some elemi, and a little bit of that really fresh, modern, young kind of oak moss vibe. And I like it. I think that this is an improvement on the original's DNA. I really do, and I don't say that lightly. I think that this is better than the original, but I do wish that it was kind of its own. Instead of being a flanker, I wish that Davidoff just almost kind of made a completely different fragrance, or made something that was a lot different. I think that this has too much of a similarity to the original. So if you were interested in this and already had the original Coolwater, unless you really, really like Coolwater and you want to collect them all, or you just really love that smell and you want to have something that's a little bit different, I think that this would be redundant. And I think that I've heard a lot of young people say, and I do understand where they're coming from, that, this Coolwater was so popular, their uncles, their dads, maybe even their grandpas wore it. They want to stand out, they want to be a little bit different, and the Coolwater type of vibe can make you smell a little bit more like, a dad. So, or like kind of, it makes you automatically think of that dad bod kind of idea. So this fragrance, for the younger, trendier guys, even though it has a nice bottle, I think it's a big improvement. Unless you really like the Coolwater, you like that assertive, a little bit of a deeper green, a little bit more of an oak moss, a little bit of a saltier, more assertive, aquatic type of fragrance, I don't think that a lot of people will be crazy about this one. It is a fine fragrance for what it is. But is it terribly exciting? No. I wish the freshness would really last with this fragrance. I wish that there's a lot more cypress, and I wish that they would have almost added like a gin, like a boozy gin note to this fragrance. I think that the original DNA, that would work really, really well, but that would maybe lean this fragrance to almost feel a little bit like Vodka on the Rocks by Kilian. And I've always kind of suggested as well that if you do like Coolwater and you want something a lot higher quality, and maybe the performance isn't amazing, but maybe just give it a try. Don't blind buy it, but give Vodka on the Rocks by Kilian a try. It's not the same fragrance. Some people might say there's no similarities. Or might say that there are no similarities, but I would give it a chance. I really would. Anyways, my thoughts with the performance, I get anywhere from 8 hours maybe. It's not a strong performer. It does last decently, but the performance, the projection could be better. I'm getting a little bit below average projection, so that's a big letdown. Sillage is just okay. and it does hold on for maybe 7 hours or so, but it's not a strong performer. I wish it was a little bit better. Maybe that's one reason that I, again, got such an amazing value on this one, guys. I picked this one up for an amazing value. We'll talk about that in a second. But not bad, but it's certainly not good. It's certainly not a great performer. But is it terrible? Not exactly, but Davidoff, you could do a better performance-wise than this. My thoughts compliment factor-wise, again, it's a little bit more refreshing, it's a little bit more likable, and but I really wish that they would have, again, made it a little bit more playful. Again, I think that they should have kept in mind that, you know, people want some more citrus, they want some more juniper or some cypress or some elemi, adding some lighter, fresher qualities to this fragrance. And I think that they could have really, I like the direction where they went with this fragrance, but they didn't get all the way there. And a lot of people, this one doesn't smell, you know, too different. Is it more likable than regular Coolwater? Yes. Is it a big compliment fragrance? No. Does it make you, would it be good in the office? Yes. Would it be good for a guy who likes, you know, green fragrances, but also wants something a little bit more modern and something that he also wants to enjoy with also smelling a little bit more trendy? This could work for guys who do really like that oak moss type of feel in their fragrances, but also want something perhaps a little bit more trendy and perhaps a little bit more wearable. It could work for those kind of guys. Not a bad fragrance compliment factor wise, but certainly didn't do me very well. Didn't get me a lot of compliments, but again, it does smell a little bit classy and refined, so it could work at the office, and it does have people respect you a little bit more, so that's never a bad thing. You know, my final thoughts are, I was able to get this bottle for, if I remember right, about $35 or even less. Yeah, you can pick this one up. I got mine for about that. I think it was a little bit under 30. You know, I don't know if that value is always going to be available, but I got mine for less than 30. And this is not a normal size bottle, if you can tell. This is a big 6.7 ounce bottle. So there are amazing values out there to be had. I'm not in love with this fragrance, and I think I might end up selling it. I was hoping that if you look at the notes, again, I'll link down below on Fragrantica. You can check out the notes of this one. I was hoping that they would have really, really departed and made really went outside of their way to really, really change the original DNA and, maybe forget their original DNA a little bit and do something a little bit different. But they stuck to the original DNA a little bit too much with this fragrance. And it's not a bad fragrance by any means, but is it spectacular? I wouldn't say so. Is it better? Yes. I think that Davidoff has lost some steam as a company. I look forward to seeing Davidoff make a comeback. I think that they have potential. I think that they have Dior Fahrenheit, which is no, not Dior Fahrenheit. This is Davidoff. But I think that with Davidoff, sorry about that blooper, but I think that they've had some fragrances kind of like Dior Fahrenheit that have kept them going. That's where my mind was going. They have some fragrances that are considered some classics that are they're still fairly popular. They're still keeping them going. But I think that Davidoff really needs to renovate, clean house, do some spring cleaning, and really change up their company to stay relevant and to be popular in the modern market. I think that they need some new releases, and I think that they need to put out some really good fragrances. So I don't think that they can stick to Davidoff Coolwater for the rest of the company's life. I think that they'll become irrelevant over time and forgotten about if they continue, to not put out any new exciting releases. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap up this review today. I wish Davidoff the best, but if this is the best Davidoff's going to do in the future, anniversary editions, switching it up, throwing out summer flankers of Coolwater, I don't think that's going to work in the long run. So anyways, an amazing value. It's still an amazing value if you're able to pick one of these up for $35 or less for a 6.7 ounce bottle of a better, improved version of Davidoff Coolwater. It's still a great fragrance for that, but for the modern people, or the trendier, younger people, is this good enough to blind buy? Is this still a good fragrance? I'd recommend that you go for Bulgari's Aquamarine and check out maybe Bulgari's Aqua Atlantique. You probably would like that a lot more than this stuff. But not a bad fragrance, not a bad creation, and I do like the bottle. Again, it's a funny thing. The bottle is quite nice. But I'll wrap this review up today. Thank y'all for stopping by. I really do appreciate you. Wear what you love, rock what you got. Have a beautiful day. Help me out down below, and I'll see you next time, everybody, and bye.